Oscar goes...
2023 was a stunning year for live TV production. We were there in person and glued to our screens like never before. So, let's rewind and look at the best in music, entertainment, live events, sports, and more, and take a look behind the scenes at how some of these productions were made.
It's crazy! It's party!
This is my 2023 live show rewind. Oh, actually. So let's have it. Let's go back to where it all began. January 2023. And the year began with some anticipation. New Year's fireworks celebrations were broadcast live on ITV and the BBC. And for the BBC there was even more anticipation, being its Eurovision year. We'll come to Eurovision coverage a little bit later, but kicking the year off in style was Sam Ryder, the UK's hero in 2022, and the big Eurovision party, or Het Grote Songfestivalfeest for my Dutchies, to frame what was to come in 2023. Happy New Year Live, produced by BBC Studios Events Productions, was the first with a live audience in 2 years. Remember COVID? And being bigger than ever, featured some cool tech to capture every spark, all in just 12 minutes. Delivered by events company Identity, it featured 400 drones at Horse Guards Parade, a fan favourite since its London fireworks show debut in 2021. 12,000 fireworks on the London Eye and barges in the Thames, 522 light fixtures, and insightful direction from key industry names. Lighting designed by Tim Routledge, his first time on this event, and music directed by Kojo Samuel, both key names in the industry working on shows from Eurovision to Glastonbury. The drones in particular were stunning and were a beautiful nod to the passing of Queen Elizabeth II last September and looking ahead to the approaching coronation of Prince Charles. But the best bit was how it formed the countdown clock, a refreshing remix since the clock on the Shell building and the Shard in previous years. The mapping of the drone display was computer animated, mapping in 3D space to plot against the night sky. These positions were then fed into drone software to correspond with each unit, and each one couldn't be less than 2.5 meters close to each other. This was tested and rehearsed at the HQ of drone company Celestial in Frome, Somerset, with a tight turnaround of only 3 months until D-Day. Camera coverage was wide, 9 cameras plotted across the capital, including the famous helicopter camera, and for stunning heights was the Vortex Cam, providing bird's eye views in narrow spaces, or the professional extreme version of a camera mounted on a very tall telescopic pole. We'll see more from this impressive piece of tech at onward BBC produced events of the year. With the first fireworks show in 2 years back with an audience, it was a tremendous return to form to, dare I say it, the best New Year's fireworks display in the world. Quite literally, from London with love. The year now well and truly started, February wasted no time at all, being all about the music. The 65th Grammy Awards kickstarted the month at the Crypto.com Arena, with a lavish LED-based stage design and guests walking out of the big gramophone horn. Then came the Brit Awards the following weekend, on a Saturday night for the first time in its history. Perfect for avoiding those after-party hangovers on the school night. And the very next day, all eyes were on a woman with child, as she was hoisted some 60 feet in the air. I can hear the risk assessment pages still printing from here. The Super Bowl halftime show featuring Rihanna. Already a monumental effort, the halftime show is a masterpiece in transforming a football field into an immersive concert arena with lights in a swifty 7.5 minutes. 15 foldable carts on wheels designed to protect the grass, all linked together and unfolded to produce an all-lit stepped platform over 230 feet long. And for the wow factor this year, 7 flown cabled platforms, moving at great speeds, equipped with lights underneath that lift and dance to the music. The brainchild of stage designer Willow Perron, choreographer Paris Goebel, production design by Bruce Rogers, who's a real veteran in the halftime show game, and built by All Access Staging, who've been partnered with the halftime show production 13 years in a row. All of this required a whopping 215 litres, that's 57 gallons of neon wildfire red paint, reportedly the manufacturer's entire US supply. Ample rehearsals were undertaken to ensure the position of each cart was perfectly in position. Due to the flying platforms, placement was critical, and with a field that was already 4 feet off the ground, a special ramp was built to wheel the carts on seamlessly. Now if you're scared of heights, look away now. The 7 platforms were controlled by an automation system from stage and production company Tate, allowing trackable positions of each platform. 2 were also made for rehearsals as part of a full-size mock-up set in secret locations, providing some incredible rehearsal footage with no fear of heights. Tate were the same company behind a dazzling halftime show with The Weeknd 2 years earlier, of which click up here for a deeper insight into how that show was made. Tate's automation system allowed time-coded movement of each of the platforms, and also worked back-to-back with their integrated camera systems, allowing shots like this, and this one at the climax of the show. Directed by legendary veteran director Hamish Hamilton, this shot alone deserves all the awards. Honestly, it's like the stuff of CGI dreams. Absolutely incredible. On the ground though, in true halftime show camouflage action, the jibs are also in wildfire red. A very unique sight as they usually only come in black. That's one thing I love about the halftime show. Everything, including the crew, and in this case the cameras, are in on the action. But as an aside on the Super Bowl itself, being an incredible technical undertaking, this year featured a whopping 94 cameras covering every inch of the field, including an 8K camera for pixel sharp 16x zooms from up high. Ask any director, you can never have too many cameras, and even though they aren't all used at once, it's the magic trick up your sleeve to get that impossible angle. A spellbinding 13-minute show with 80 dancers, 7 band members, and with the appearance of this incredible signing in ASL for the first time ever in halftime show history, it truly had something for everyone. And the halftime's first performance with a pregnant woman, and probably also technically the youngest ever performer on a halftime show. After all, she wasn't up there by herself. Moving into March now, and the month of probably the most anticipated awards show on TV. And especially anticipated following something rather insignificant that happened live on air in 2022. It's the Oscars. Now I have a full breakdown of how this year's show was produced, just click up here, but something notable about this was the back to basics creative direction of the show. The set design of 2022 was a reaction and evolution of adapted seating in response to the pandemic, with stunning immersive cabaret style seating to bring the award presenter and nominees closer together. Even adapted remote control cameras on telescopic shafts allowed a closeness to the person on stage, like never before. I actually quite liked how modern and fresh this design was, especially as it changed over the course of the show. Now, in the face of some reports stating the intimate stage design was what made it so easy for Will to get face to face with Chris, the 2023 design took us to the golden age of cinema with glorious Art Deco, with a return to classic raked seating. But a basic stage it was not, with high resolution screens that radiated around the Dolby Theatre, displaying gorgeous golden gilded artwork, cool LED fixtures on seats that change in colour to the set, and a sneaky peek to the orchestra, quite literally behind the curtain. The most significant fact is that this is the first Oscars to have a production design team led by women, a major milestone in its 95-year history. For more, click up here. You know what else is award winning? Giving this video a like and a subscribe. Trophy will be delivered to your home address. The award shows continued in April with the CMT Music Awards. For the first time in its 56-year history, it left its usual home of Nashville, Tennessee, taking over Texas's Moody Center. It's also a first for the city of Austin, this being its first ever live televised award show. And what a show it was, with a striking layered LED stripped set that brought the audience and performers close together. Even Gwen Stefani made an appearance. However, not all things live went according to plan. The much anticipated Love is Blind live reunion had millions in Netflix watch parties ready for the dramatic climax of the show's 4th season. However, technical problems plagued production, and hours after their start time, eventually Netflix resorted to taping the show for later consumption. This was Netflix's second attempt into live broadcast after a successful Chris Rock live special, and Love is Blind fans were not happy.
They're gonna raise their prices and do this?
I'm very disappointed.
What is going on?
They said they'd be 18 minutes late. Still waiting.
Oh, the drama. even Blockbuster had something to say. The shade. Well, whoever said love can wait was lying. Speaking of American TV, things did take an even greater turn, as mid-April saw the beginnings of what was to become the second longest strike affecting TV and film productions in the country. The strike, sparked by the poor compensation for writers, was voted 98% in favour and was set to begin on the 1st of May. A number of productions were cancelled, including award shows that were postponed to the end of the year or cancelled outright. Fast forward 148 days to September 27th, and the strike was lifted, but not without leaving its influential mark on the industry. Hold on to your hats, fascinators and flags. May was a bumper month in the world of live TV, and no production company knew it more than BBC Studios. Last summer, millions saw the mammoth broadcast of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations, and only a few months later, to the largest outside broadcasting operation to date, the TV coverage of the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. The funeral itself made use of a whopping 213 cameras, broadcasting in ultra-high definition with 14 Obi trucks across 10 days of coverage. The camera work and direction alone was breathtaking, and rightly won a BAFTA. So, with a royal shuffle, this meant planning coronation coverage and nationwide celebrations in a little under 8 months. Challenge accepted. Meanwhile, behind the scenes talks concluded in confirmation of the UK, and thus the BBC, to step in and host Eurovision 2023 on behalf of Ukraine. To happen when? Challenge accepted? The King's Coronation, part of 9 days of live coverage, was the first this side of the millennium, 70 years after Queen Elizabeth's. And, like the 1953 ceremony being at the forefront of technology then, so was King Charles's own. Just with more cameras, way more, at 150. 8 cameras alone were dotted in and around the coronation chair to capture every significant second as King Charles was sworn in, including one right here above the altar screen, hidden amongst the flowers. However, a carefully made decision from bosses was to ensure the anointing, one of the most sacred parts of the ceremony, had no cameras trained on the activity behind the blinds. And with stunning visuals, how on earth was sound covered? A radio lav mic on the King was out of the question, but cunning minds and His Majesty's permission hid one within his kneeler, and the other one is absolute genius, hidden within the sleeve of the bishop to be at the approximate height of His Majesty's mouth when he spoke. To celebrate, Windsor Castle was home to its biggest audience yet, 20,000 people cheering on its coronation concert. This was the largest stage ever built in the UK, with a striking outdoor design, featuring an LED crown of sorts atop the Union Jack styled stage. Designed by Stu Fish, it was big enough for a 70-piece orchestra, gospel choir, and even Katy Perry's dress, and smartly designed to look great on vertical video. And behind this, the world-famous eastern facade of Windsor Castle became one of the biggest projection screens in the UK, powered by 28 4K projectors from Panasonic that simply took breaths away. And if that wasn't enough, the skies saw the largest ever multi-location drone event. Including Windsor Castle, displays were also in Cardiff Bay and the Eden Project, totaling over 1,000 drones zooming around in glorious Technicolor. It was a huge production, and this shot, one of my absolute faves, best illustrates the sheer scale. Oh yeah, did I mention it was on Heathrow's direct flight path, only 7.5 miles away? Yeah, a perfect storm for production planning. Producers had Heathrow on speed dial to confirm permission to rehearse every night after the airport closed, to ensure lighting and lasers don't distract pilots from landing nearby. The best thing, on the night itself, the flight path to Heathrow was changed, with all flights having to take the scenic route, ensuring a fault-free evening of entertainment, and to ensure pilots were not disturbed by Take That performing just below. Within the weekend of programming, a faultless series of productions in such a high-stakes atmosphere where there's no second chances. Now the very next day, all eyes were on Liverpool as Eurovision fever took over. Now a production this big needs its own video, and I have just that. Just click up here. And there was just a case of another award show literally the next day, the actual BAFTA TV Awards. Obi Vant had never been so busy. So as they packed up to make their way back across the country, the next stop for many was another BBC gig as we head down a country road, or 6, to a little known music festival on some farm fields in southwest England. It's got a pyramid actually. Glastonbury once again welcomed revellers in mid-June, turning Worthy Farm into a pop-up city. A staple of the BBC summer broadcast schedule since 1997, and following award-winning productions during the COVID years, it was back with an epic guitar riff of a vengeance, a music mecca for 200,000 people. For its green location, it's a feat of broadcast engineering. Fibre optic cables providing a robust communications loop are permanently buried deep, but in the past have been dug up by an unfortunate well-meaning tractor or two. The festival is a literal pop-up broadcast city. Multiple scanners handle live presentation to all BBC channels and iPlayer. 5 main stages had their own camera and OB vans set up, allowing for some very cool camera direction, all fed to a central on-site production hub handled by Timeline TV. Across the site, there's 64 cameras, with the pyramid stage alone using 12 of them. And on top of this, there's a roving film unit, capturing everything outside of the music and equipped with radio cameras to provide live links across the site. Now, remember the impressive Vortex cam mentioned for January? Well, it's packed its festival wellies and produced some of the most breathtaking shots capturing the entire pyramid stage, especially seen at Elton John's extraordinary farewell performance, closing the festival. But you can't close a show without opening it, and the Rocket Man himself did in grand style with probably the best ever manned camera shot ever seen on live TV. How? Batcam, armed with their Fly unit, don't say the D word, transmitted these pictures live. In coordination with director Janet Fraser-Crook, 7 million viewers were spellbound by this incredible opening shot. I'll let the pictures speak for itself. And quite aptly for Rocket Man taking you to space, check out this shot from the Helicam, capturing the sheer scale of the audience. And to bring the festival even closer to those watching from home, performances of the pyramid stage was broadcast in ultra high definition, high dynamic range, or UHD HDR to be brief. Perfect to capture the pyramid stage in its absolute best. Come for the music, experience some discarded wellies, but stay for the visual masterpiece from field to screen. Okay, before we continue, anyone for a quick game of footy? Let's head down under to the FIFA Women's World Cup, which means I probably couldn't play. Let's go anyway. Like the world of entertainment, global sports coverage is an impressive movement of technology and innovation. Spider cams and Steadicams, advanced audio capture, and even specialized digital techniques bring the beautiful game closer to viewers than ever before. And the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup was the perfect matchup of sports and tech. But in this edition, there was a challenge. How would you provide the lofty goal of the most immersive football coverage ever across 10 stadiums, host cities 3,000 miles apart, and over 2 major countries? The solution? Remote working. Just a bit more glamorous than during the pandemic. Presenting the FIFA World Cup's International Broadcast Centre at Sydney's Olympic Park, the football hub for over 4 weeks. Here, 5 directors from the UK, Australia, Germany and the Netherlands and their teams called all the shots. And on the ground were 9 in-stadium based production teams of camera operators and a floor manager. Sydney's 2 stadiums shared 1 team. All of this was connected over IP, with specialised IP trucks in Melbourne and Sydney, and IP fly packs, that's customised outside broadcast units that are small enough to fly away with, all with plenty of backup to ensure nothing is missed. And back at the hub, the live broadcast of each match was split into 5 different feeds. Okay, so it's penalty time and all eyes are on the pitch. To ensure every action and reaction is covered, not 1, not 5, but from 21 to 25 cameras and just as many well-placed microphones capture everything. Ultra motion, super slow motion, cable cams, pole cams, the lot. And because we love a stadium shot, helicams and drones are on deck as well. Cinecams, that debuted in Qatar 2022, were introduced at every game here as well. The beautiful game is a movie. Now the live experience went further with a comprehensive package around matches, from the specialised graphics from thousands of data points, round-the-clock features productions and major digital first coverage. If the idea was wall-to-wall content, it was a goal. Sports broadcasting is immense, and with lofty goals from FIFA and host broadcasting services, and working remotely across 2 countries and over 3,000 miles, this year's World Cup was, well, pretty damn world class. Just don't talk about the final, that was heartbreaking enough. It was a slightly quieter month in the world of live TV come August, but it was all happening in the world of live events. One such show, Beyoncé's Renaissance World Tour. A breathtaking production of silver horses, metallic tanks, future technology, calling out non-divas, and shouting out someone other than Beyoncé. And with 3 teams rolling out the tour worldwide, that is, while one tour was set up and going live, the next 2 cities are being built in sequential order, for concert goers, it truly was an awe-inspiring experience. It's kinda understood why fans simply couldn't go on mute. Now, this wasn't a live TV broadcast per se, but the tour did make use of cutting-edge TV technology. The large LED set piece doubled up as a canvas to showcase Beyoncé up close and personal. Roaming Steadicams mounted on Ari Trinity for shots like this, a 4-point spider cam to pull in and push away, and something she specifically asked for and ensure she got, cameras on tracks as long as the catwalks by way of Furio dollies. Stabilised camera heads by the likes of Newton and Shotover provided smooth, unobtrusive shots of the Queen herself. Robot-style heads not too dissimilar to those robot arms. All directed by Beyoncé herself, the on-screen visuals was directed by Parkwood Entertainment's own Ed Burke. And with all of these cameras, what's keeping everything on beat? Cutting the visuals of the show was Q-Pilot, a groundbreaking camera switcher used for live TV broadcasts that has its beginnings in equally massive stadium events, Eurovision. It was used to cut the cameras for the large screens that made up part of the set. This also made up the official performance film of the tour, where its consistency allowed dazzling transitions from different tour dates. It's not just Queen Bee that has a Q-Pilot treatment. Taylor Swift's Mega 150 show The Eras Tour also features Q-Pilot tech, cutting the visuals seen on her breathtaking concert film. It's a now industry standard on live music productions, capturing the magic of the arena more creatively than us mere mortals ever could. Look at that timeline fly. Into the last third of the year now, and September saw the return of the ever cool, ever out of this world MTV VMA Awards in New Jersey. It's called music's most iconic night, and it certainly was, with its now trademark double-headed performance stages and central award platform. It was certainly one of the most eye-catching stage designs this year. Designed by Matt Steinbrenner, who's been involved with the VMAs since 2010, lighting design was by Tom Sutherland, who was actually part of the 2020 edition. Check out my video up here. The design imagined how audio waves would rip through and sculpt the environment, seeing stylized equalizer bars everywhere, which linked the 2 stages together, and on an MTV Moonman helmet. A whopping 35 feet high, it got the detailed audio shockwave treatment too, and took 3 months to design, technically draw and build. The detail on the helmet especially is impressive and totally worth the build time. Interestingly, there was no augmented reality this year compared with previous, but the specular detail of the show more than made up for the lack of this particular tech. This was built by All Access Staging. Yep, you've heard this name before. Back in February, they were behind the Super Bowl halftime show construction, as well as other numerous huge productions. But the real magic? The performances. 16, each as unforgettable as the last, but meaning 16 different creative teams and different creatives, all drawing up and designing their set pieces within mere weeks before broadcast night. Yep, right down to the wire. In fact, for the designers and producers, some ambitious plans had to be scaled back in order to work in a 9 minutes changeover time. It makes you wonder what ideas were dropped. Featuring Olivia Rodrigo's falling set, mirroring her music video, Cardi B descending from a jeweled chandelier, a Eurovision crossover with Måneskin, and an epic dedication to 50 years of hip-hop, just to name a few. It was the biggest video music awards yet, but no performance had X, going crazy than Shakira. Doesn't this look familiar? Anyway, her epic 12-minute performance took us on a tour of her greatest hits, and across all 3 stages. Her tunnel, in fact, is so big It took a forklift to be able to assemble the prop piece on the stage. Plus, these smooth camera moves saw the use of the Steadicam ARRI Trinity, nimble enough to stabilize but get up close in a tight space. Oh yeah, Shakira even jumps on a ribbon lift to complete the performance, all wrapped up with a spider cam to orbit around the Miss Truthful hips herself. Directed by Brit Liz Clare, we were seamlessly transported from performance to performance, being made to feel as if we were in the arena itself. Or, in the case of Måneskin, inches from Damiano's face. It worked! With a 37% increase in viewership from the previous year, it was also the most social VMAs of all time. I quite liked how vertical video had a key presence within the show, in the break bumpers. And of course, you can't forget creatively, mid-performance. It's a yearly masterpiece in music entertainment production that looks incredible, and somehow remains too cool for school compared with other shows. Bring on 2024. It's October, and just over 5 years earlier, Emma Willis said this.
As you may have heard today, it was officially announced that this will be the last ever series of Big Brother.
As we bowed goodbye to the UK's most famous house. You think that'll be the end of it, right? Wrong. In an age of hyper-reality TV, the OG of OG reality shows returned to our screens in the autumn after months of rumour and speculation. Set in a state-of-the-art soundstage and its rather glamorous car park, true story, it's where the garden was, its return was significant to its new broadcaster, ITV, making it one of the very few TV productions to have broadcast on all 5 main UK TV networks. A new broadcaster means a new look, with the new Big Brother eye, revealed in July. Going all maximalist with all the colours and an eye within an eye, it's a departure from the menacing psychological eyes of yore, and leading more with ITV's more game-showy, glossy vibe. But still evil though. Remember Jenkins' suitcase in the first episode? Yep, not all that's pretty is friendly. Now, to help ensure this season remained true to its winning formula of yesteryear, producers called a Big Brother Global Summit. This fancy meeting was called to allow ITV2 bosses to learn what works in the Big Brother house from producers of 33 global versions of the show. A smart move, especially to help make sure the show didn't lean too far into fellow ITV reality show Love Island, to keep it raw and not too glossy. 30,000 people applied, and with the help of Zoom, was whittled down to the final 16 over a grueling 10-month casting period. Ambitious plans would have seen the housemates enter the house by boat, thanks to the Grand Union Canal just behind the facility. Think James Bond, or David Beckham zooming up the Thames during London 2012. Unfortunately, with a 5 miles per hour speed limit, this otherwise exciting idea went to sleep with the fishes, or whatever you find in the canal. It was a series of highs and lows, featuring the highest amount of cameras ever used on any Big Brother at 84, yes, including a few and ever famous camera runs, and was also the shortest of any franchise at a speedy 6 weeks. It also bears some parallels to the very first series back in 2000. For example, the launch show was not live to allow housemates to settle in and provide an action-packed launch show episode the next day. Also, here's something that has unchanged from day one. The bird song that gets played during the live feed was actually recorded back in 2000 in the chief sound engineer's garden, and both he and the sound itself still work on the show to its day. This was the first UK Big Brother house to be entirely accessible, including the ramp to allow Kerry to get into the house, and also a lift cleverly hidden by the front door. The success of this series has confirmed the return in 2024, so look out for more shopping tasks and big wig action, courtesy of ITV. It's the penultimate month of the year, and as the nights draw in, TVs across the country flicker on to a Saturday night institution, Strictly Come Dancing. Officially the world's most successful reality TV format, now in its 20th year, it's dazzled audiences, relaunched careers, and has also been the site of slick, cutting-edge production in its 2 decades. Preparation for the upcoming series begins in late summer, and the set construction takes 3 weeks at the capacious George Lucas 2 stage in Elstree. Construction time mainly due to the large set pieces and the mezzanine areas, including the Clauditorium, where Claudia Winkleman does her chats. It's got glitter, it's got slick moves, it's got special effects. Augmented reality and projection mapping have come a long way in the 13 years in use with Strictly. Back in 2010, originally the graphics were projected onto the ballroom floor and used a fixed camera view to bring it to life, with updates over the years as technology improved. The 2020 series, however, saw the perfect combination of advanced technology and thinking of new ideas with restrictions and social distancing. The result? Unreal, breathtaking results that's worthy from a 10 from all the judges. This is all created by Potion Pictures. On a tight week-to-week basis, designers are briefed on concepts and designs from Monday to Wednesday, in studio on Thursday to operate and tweak final designs, Friday for rehearsals, and then on Saturday night, we go live. This works from two forms of AR. One, which is projected onto the floor and is tracked by cameras in real time. The other has graphics overlaid on top of the camera, also tracked in real time. Combine the two types and the results are mesmerizing. The design software is Unreal Engine, and tracking all this 3D tech is Mosis's Star Tracker, used in various 3D and AR sets in TV. This uses tracking points attached to the ceiling or rig of the set to determine the camera's position in 3D space. The Steadicam and the Technocrane cameras take advantage of this tech. But there's a secret ingredient. Lighting design is key here, and effort is made to make sure that the lights match the effects and vice versa to further blur the lines of reality. And all of this is played out live. This was taken a step further in 2021, where professional dancers used motion capture suits to help create 3D cyborg robot dancers, all done in real time. This has truly made one of Saturday night's glitziest shows get even more glitzy, and why it's still a ratings winner 2 decades later. And 12 months on from where it all started, we're in December. December sees key live productions wrap up, for example with Strictly reaching its climax on the 16th. But there's also the opportunity for a live show crossover to announce the UK's next Eurovision entry, Ollie Alexander. And with productions wrapping up, plus with the festive season upon us, this is where the magic of the pre-record takes centre stage. ITV saw the National Lottery's Big Bash 2023 broadcast on New Year's Eve after being recorded in early December, featuring Take That, Busted, and Loreen in one of her first UK televised appearances since winning Eurovision in May, and was a key entertainment showcase to wrap up the year. A bit later was New Year's Eve Rocks featuring the one and only Rick Astley, following an impressive summer at Glastonbury. This broadcast, along with New Year's broadcast institution Jules' annual Hootenanny, play out as live, where the countdown to the new year is embedded into the show. So yep, everyone at Jules' party counts down to the new year in the middle of December. However, over on BBC One, a gap is embedded in Rick Astley's show to cross over live to London, the London Eye, and the New Year's Eve fireworks, before coming back to the as live pre-recorded show. Much like last year's incredible broadcast, we were dazzled with drones and fireworks, but watch out for my next year's wrap up to see how it was done this time round. And though the drone countdown was quite nice, this was a missed opportunity for a more ideal countdown. Maybe next year. So, a sterling night of partying entertainment to set the scene for another spectacular year in live TV events in 2024. And that was 2023. A year of launches, comebacks, massive one-off specials that had us glued to our screens like never before, and of course in major fashion post-pandemic. So what can we expect in 2024? Awards shows remain a firm fixture in the calendar. Some that were postponed due to the strike earlier this year will see an appearance in 2024. The Olympics returns to Gay Paris for the first time in 100 years, celebrating its centenary, matching London's 3-time hosting record. Sweden welcomes Eurovision for the 7th time in May and for the 3rd time in the city of Malmö. And as for sport, Euro 2024 heads to Germany for its 3rd time. Glastonbury is set to light up Worthy Farm once again, and as promised midway through its season debut, Big Brother returns in the autumn. With 2023 being an exceptional and rather unexpected year, the bar's been set very high, but 2024 certainly won't disappoint. That's good to me. I'll see you next year, but before you go, don't forget to give this video a like and of course subscribe, plus check out some of my previous content all over here. I'll see you in 2024. And rewind.